Epic Universe is a brand new theme park filled with groundbreaking rides, incredible atmosphere, and some amazing food. We've eaten at every single restaurant in the new park, and some of them are not worth your time or money, but some of them are absolute must-dos. There are over 25 restaurants across all 5 themed lands, from vampiric crypts to mushroom-themed Nintendo dining. We've tried it all before the park is even open to make sure you know what's worth eating. So let's dive in and review every single restaurant at Epic Universe. Behind me is the Bubbly Barrel. Now, spoiler alert, this is my #1 stop in Super Nintendo World despite only having one item on the menu, and that is the DK Crush Float. This is incredible. It is banana pineapple soft serve with pineapple soda, a waffle bowl, sprinkles, toffee pieces, and caramel popcorn. It was going viral. I was skeptical because it looked a little overwhelming. I had it, I crushed, no pun intended, the whole thing. It is so delicious. It is just as good as it looks. Cannot recommend this enough. You can get it in or out of the souvenir barrel, which is amazing. And for this one, I'd take a blue shell, baby. I'd take a blue shell. When I say mushroom, you say kingdom. This is Toadstool Cafe. Toadstool Cafe is the main Quable service restaurant here in Super Nintendo World. It is themed, of course, with Chef Toad cooking for you mushroom. Kingdom. She was so late.
I forgot.
Chef Toad is cooking for you here. The food is honestly not my favorite compared to the rest of the Epic Universe food because it's a menu we've seen before, and Epic Universe food seems to be at a bit higher of a standard, whereas this restaurant is a bit of the older themed food of Universal standard. So it doesn't quite hit in the same sphere, but super fun dishes that look so Nintendo. So if you've got a kiddo who loves Nintendo, and so much indoor seating in the AC with themed environments where you can look out the windows, it is a fun restaurant, and the food is not bad, it's just not great. I think for this one, I'd come in 5th in Mario Kart. Psst, hey kid. This is Yoshi's Snack Island. Another counter service stand here in Super Nintendo World. This one is gonna have Yoshi's Shell, which you can eat. It's a calzone. Red shell calzone, which is fun. Red shell's great in Mario Kart. And then you've also got the Yoshi smoothie. But this spot, limited menu. The items are tasty, not a must stop. I am gonna also give this a 5th in Mario Kart, but cute items. Turbo Boost Treats. This is our next stop. This is a small snack stand, mostly serving popcorn as well as souvenir popcorn buckets. If you want a souvenir Nintendo popcorn bucket or sipper, Turbo Boost Treats is gonna have those for you. They are super cute and super fun, but there is not a lot special going on here. Would I give anything up for this? No. In fact, I would rather come in 7th in Mario Kart than need this spot. But you know, I can't eat popcorn, so that's kind of on me. Okay, that's not, hey Emma. Hey, Emma, that's not, it's this way.
The Burning Blade.
The Tavern, yes.
Sorry.
Hi. This is the Burning Blade Tavern, as you can see by the Burning Blade. This is the more like bar situation, but they do have small bites, including some of my favorite Epic Universe bites overall. This spot has super cool theming where you're basically visiting the lair of a monster hunting group. Very controversial here in Darkmoor where the monsters sort of walk free. It's super cool because while you're in here, you may have a character experience with one of the monster hunters and learn the call of the Hounds, the monster hunting group. The drinks at this spot are super fun, the theming's incredible, and the food really rocks. So this one, for me, it's up there. I highly recommend the loaded baked potato, and I've heard great things about the cheese bites. I would give Igor both of my legs for this restaurant. That's my sweet boy. The main Quable service restaurant here in Dark Universe is Das Steakhouse. Now this, for my vampire-loving folks, if you're like me, is the vampire-themed restaurant. It is a little hokey, very spooky, and it is probably the most intense environment in Dark Universe. So if you have timid kiddos or anybody in your party who you're a little worried about Dark Universe being a bit intense, this is the spot that I would maybe check out first before bringing them in. There are dead vampires on the wall that have been staked, and they serve up food with a gruesome twist, a lot of which is covered in like blood. They have steak that's covered in a very convincing blood sauce. The food is really delicious, and honestly, I had incredible salmon here with mashed potatoes and root vegetables. That was one of the better, healthier meals I've had in a theme park in a long time. Really loved it, but I do love this spot. It's very dark and very air conditioned as well. Just a warning is even if you aren't really put off by spooky environments, you still might not want to eat because it does have a bit of a gory element to the decoration, and that can be a little unappetizing. And if there's a long line and you're on the fence, don't wait in it just in case. But for Das Steakhouse, I'd kiss Gilman to keep Dust Steakhouse. You thought I was gonna say Dracula. That wouldn't be really an offer. I'd kiss Gilman. This is DeLacy's Cottage, smallest food location here in Dark Universe. It is themed after the cottage that Frankenstein visits in the novel and in the movie, where he meets the DeLacy family and learns the meaning of the word friend. And then things go awry because nothing can go well for Frankenstein's monster. I said Frankenstein, and I want you all to relax. I know every single one of you has done it before, okay? Somebody at home was typing their comment, backspace right now. I know it's the monster. And also, we call him Victoria's Frankenstein creation, because he's not a monster. There are cinnamon roll bites here that are covered in nice icing. It comes with a whopping 8 of them, so a super shareable treat, as well as the Frankenstein pretzel. So not a huge menu here. Other refreshments are available, but more basic stuff. They do have Monster energy drinks. You get it? Anyway, this spot is certainly not a must-do in my opinion. I'd burn a windmill down. I would rather burn a windmill down than go to this spot. I don't feel the need to go here. Hooligans Grog Grl. This walk-up stand is extremely popular because it is home to the famous Isle of Burke mac and cheese cones. Watch out, there's one right behind you! These mac and cheese cones are viral. People are obsessed with these, and with good reason. They are very, very tasty. My personal favorite is the PB&J, but they also have a Dragon Fire Chicken Spire, and they have a regular one that just has goldfish on top. But lots of options here. They are so popular because this handheld treat is just so eye-catching and so delicious. So the line here can get so long, and I don't want you to wait in it. And I will explain how you cannot wait in it when we talk about another restaurant in 2 stops, so stay tuned. But Hooligans Grog Grl, really spectacular mac and cheese cones. I'd wait in line an hour for these, but you don't have to, but I would. And that's my wrap up on this, is that I would. Welcome to the Meathall. Now this is one of my favorite places to grab a meal in all of Epic Universe, and that's because it is indoors, it is dark, and it is air conditioned to the high Viking heavens. This spot is gonna have a lot of Scandinavian inspired food. For instance, they have a meatballs plate that is just like IKEA meatballs, but a little bit better, including the lingonberry jam. Lots of root vegetables, hearty portions here, but the food doesn't taste like theme park food. It's Scandinavian inspired, which you don't see a lot in theme parks. So it's a really interesting menu, and truly the best part of this is the atmosphere. Tons of seating, tons of AC, very dark. I love it in here. It's very bright outside. Even though Meathall doesn't have standout food options, I think I would let somebody cut my finger off. The food is good and the shade is really good. I mean, maybe not an important finger, maybe half of my pinky. This here is Spitfire Grill. I was gonna say it's my favorite in Isle of Burke, but it's not. There are others that I also like. I like them all here. Spitfire Grill is a place where you're going to find bowls built on ancient grains with lots of fresh veggies, pickled onions, and things like that. And then there's different protein options. My personal favorite that I have had is the salmon bowl, but there are lots of different bowl options here. Also, a pro tip that if you tell anyone I told you, we're gonna have a problem. My dragon will fight your dragon if you tell anyone that I told you. You can get the mac and cheese cones here. The line gets really long at Hooligans Grog Grl, and it does not get really long at Spitfire Grill. And you can mobile order at this one. Get your mac and cheese cones here. Overall, biggest recommendation here, honestly, everything on the menu is pretty tasty. And our final 1-sentence summary is, I would learn to do fire breathing with alcohol like they do, where they're in order to eat at this restaurant. And I would be bad at that, and I would burn myself. So that's I'm dedicated to this restaurant. We're at Café L'Air de la Sirène. This is one of the wizarding restaurants in the wizarding world of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. We traveled back in time to 1920s Paris, a really cool French spot. Honestly, one of the most pleasant locations in the park because of pro tip, sitting here where I am on the patio and eating. This is the home of the famous butterbeer crepe, but everything on the menu here is delicious. I've had the steak au poivre, which was wonderful, the quiche Laren, which was wonderful. They have a delicious dirigible plum mocktail. You can't really go wrong here. Every time our team has eaten here, they have loved it. So it really is a winning spot of French cuisine. And I do recommend, if you can stomach the heat, if it's a hot time of year, sitting on the patio and watching the citizens of Paris and visitors walk through the streets. It's very, very pleasant. And it does feel like you're off in 1920s Paris. I think to keep this restaurant around, I would break Dolores Umbridge out of the Ministry prison. I wouldn't want to, but I'm not going to lose this cafe. The other full-service dining spot in the wizarding world of Harry Potter is going to be Lobang Noir. This spot is kind of tucked away, but it has a ton of kind of dark, very cold indoor seating.
It also has a German-inspired menu, which is pretty cool and a little bit of a break from the French food over at Café Lair de la Sirène. You'll find bratwurst, you'll find a whole platter full of German goodies with pickles and onions and things like that. It is a really cool restaurant and one that I've enjoyed going to as a nice break from the crowds and for some hearty, filling food that, again, doesn't taste like you'd find it in a theme park. Honestly, Café Lair de la Sirène is better, but I find myself going to Le Gobelin Noir more often because it is the more underrated spot that doesn't have the crowds. And I'm quite a fan of this one. Honestly, I'd duel Grindelwald for it. And I'd lose, but I would duel him.
Hey y'all, it's Bar Moonshine. Welcome to Bar Moonshine. This is the American location. Weirdly, you can kind of eat around the world in this land because you have a restaurant with German food or eat and drink. You have a restaurant with German food, a restaurant with French food, and then you have a restaurant that's bar that's supposed to be the American bar. So this only has drinks, only has cocktails and alcoholic beverages. It is a full bar. The cocktails are really awesome. They're some of my favorite of the themed cocktails in the entire park. What's really fun here is that when you do order a drink, the bartenders tend to give you a little message, a little note about the drinks. For instance, with a low blaster, you do need a designated flyer, and they warn you not to use any port keys, and if you are, you're going to use blue powder to speak very clearly. Otherwise, who knows, you might up in the 1990s at the English Ministry of Magic for the trial of Dolores Umbridge, and that would be wild. Really love this bar, one of my favorites in the park. That said, I don't think I would keep it over the other two, and so I think for this, I would learn to play the harp to lull Fluffy to sleep. That's what I do.
What's that behind you?
Ah, don't look! It's the Beetle Bird cart.
Oh, très bien.
Yeah, thank you. This is the Beetle Bird cart. It's finally, we would be remiss if we didn't mention it. Nothing too special going on here. They've got cold and frozen butterbeer that you can get in a very pretty souvenir stein. It's actually my favorite souvenir butterbeer cup that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of souvenir butterbeer cups, so I'm quite a fan of this one. Overall, you can get butterbeer at pretty much all the other restaurants, so I wouldn't do too much for this one. But if it's got a short line and you're craving a butterbeer, swing by. For this, I'd let a niffler into a jewelry store.
Yeah.
But I'd maybe do that anyway. Finish the lyric. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's, no, it's not amore. It's Pizza Moon. Look, the moon's hitting the pizza's hitting his eye. Anyway, Pizza Moon. This is more the Italian spot. We're talking pizza, we're talking pasta, but it does have a twist. One, the theming is some of the best in the park. It is gorgeous in there. And two, they've got more unique pizza options like ube pizza, which that sounds delicious. I love ube. Purple crust. This spot has rave reviews and is often very busy, so if you want to eat here, I would go off of peak meal times. Even right now, not a peak meal time on a slower day, it's pretty busy back there. I don't want to give up Pizza Moon, so I would perform an 8-act opera by myself in front of an audience of people I wanted to like me to keep this around. No one is talking this spot up, so I'm gonna be the one to do it. Meteor Astropub rules. One of my favorite restaurants in the park. Kind of basic eats, but all with like a little bit of a plus up, and they're all high quality. Great burger, great fish and chips. Everything I've had there has been awesome. Plus, the bartenders are super friendly, and there's a walk-up bar that you can sit inside in the air conditioning at the bar. They also serve the Speechless Astronomy here, which is Celestial Park specialty beer and one of my favorite specialty beers in the park. Best part about it is that it doesn't get full at peak lunch times. So I've seen the park very, very busy, and even on a very, very busy day where there were lines out the door at places like Café Lair de la Sirène, Meteor Astropub had tables. So I think it's a little underrated, and that's probably a good thing. And sorry for telling you, but I couldn't keep it to myself. You guys deserve to know. I'd jump in the fountain during the fountain show to keep Meteor Astropub. I'd do it. The unassuming spot behind me is Comet Dogs. Celestial hot dogs is kind of the vibe here. I know it sounds strange, but they have some really interesting sounding hot dogs on the menu, and frankly, I'm intrigued. I haven't eaten here yet, so I don't know what I would give up. You know what? I learned to fly a moonship for this. All right, there's another unassuming stand behind me, and listen, Comet Dogs was good, but this is Sweet Bao, and spoiler alert, I would sacrifice an entire land for this. That's probably not true, but neither are some of the things I've said here. It's just about getting a sense of how I feel about these things. If you like Asian food and you need a grab and go snack, this is it, man. They have a veggie bao that is to die for. They have something called a tteokbokki skewer, which is so delicious as well. And then they also have like kimchi buns, just like, it's 4 items. That's the whole menu, it's 4 items. But everything I've had here has been delicious. I need to try the rest of the menu. I've been so stunned by it. And the veggie buns are the thing that I find myself when I'm like anywhere in the park thinking, you know, I need something that's not quite a snack but not quite a meal. I want these veggie buns. I would theoretically give up the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic for it. That is not true. I'm exaggerating, but you understand. Next up, we have the Oaken Tavern, another Quable service spot. You head in, get your table, mobile order on your phone, and they bring it right out to you. Can use the register if you want, but this spot is going to be barbecue focused. I'm talking brisket, I'm talking pulled pork, I'm talking a sweet and sticky mango bread that had Miranda in particular going wild, and honestly, she's right, it's very good. Lots of air-conditioned indoor seating in here, pretty easy to get in even at busier lunch times. So definitely a great spot to have on your radar, though maybe not one I would necessarily dash to first thing out of all the options. But all the food is good, what can I say? I think for this one I would cut my hair to like shoulder length, which I've done before, but you know. Now I like Oaken Star, but I love its attached bar, the Plastered Owl. This is one of the full bars located in the park, and this one has some incredible cocktails. The star cocktail that I've tried here was a breakfast old fashioned. Oh, it was so delicious. And they also have the special Celestial Park beer on draft here, which also rules. So Plastered Owl is one of my top bars in the park. For this one, I would fight the scary statue ladies. Only if they were interested in a sparring match. I wouldn't like do it unsolicited, but I would fight them for this. As you might be able to tell from this bamboo pole I'm leaning on, Epic Universe does have its own tiki bar. This is Celeste Tiki. Celeste Tiki, of course, tiki drinks, frozen, blended tiki drinks, very well blended. You're on vacation when you're at Epic Universe, and this spot is gonna have your vacation drinks. Now, I'm not big on super sweet drinks, and there's a lot of really good bars, so I wouldn't be too sad about giving this one up. However, I do love a good blended cocktail, so like, I'd like do dishes in like a restaurant kitchen for a day for this, but I hate dishes, so that's saying something. Welcome to Atlantic. Isn't this like you and I are on a date? But really, you're Emma.
I'm on a date.
Atlantic is one of the 2 table service restaurants here in Celestial Park. In fact, one of the only 2 table service restaurants in the entire park. So if you're looking for something a little more upscale, but warning, that might take a bit more time, Atlantic is gonna be your spot. Seafood focused restaurant, but they also apparently have an incredible burger, which I did just sample, and it was pretty tasty. Overall, Angie has done a full review of Atlantic, and she considered it a beautiful atmosphere, which as you can see, you're right on the water. Like they say restaurants on the water, this one is like in the water basically. But Angie's overall take on this was that it was overpriced for what it is and that the food was nothing to rave about. So just a warning, you are really paying for the atmosphere, for a nice break in the AC where you're actually waited on, which is a little bit nicer than the Quable service around the rest of the park. I would rather eat almost anywhere but here, but not necessarily as a reflection of the food, just because the food isn't enough to warrant the amount of time it takes to have a table service meal on my Epic Universe day. There are so many incredible Quable services. I've been blown away by the Quable service food, not by the table service food, and that should tell you where to go. Looking for ice cream? Look no further than Frosty Moon here in Celestial Park. This spot serves up soft serve and cups or cones with your choice of topping, and they have some pretty unique flavors, which is great. That said, it's not the best soft serve at Universal Orlando. That prize still goes to Florian Fortescue's over at Universal Studios in Diagon Alley, but it's still pretty tasty, and when it's hot like it is in Florida, you probably are gonna want some soft serve. I think for this one, I'd have a tooth pulled. I'd have a tooth pulled right out. Not a like prominent one. Like one back here. I don't know, maybe that's more trouble than it's worth, but I don't know, I really like soft serve. Isla Burke isn't the only place that's got dragons. At Epic Universe, Celestial Park has one of its own right here behind me, the Blue Dragon. This is a Pan-Asian inspired restaurant where when you head inside, it feels like you're outside in an Asian street market. The menu has a variety of Pan-Asian eats. Our team's review of this spot does say that it doesn't quite pack the punch with flavor like you expect Asian cuisine to do, but it has a fun menu. It is a full table service, so this is gonna take up a lot of time, more time than your typical Quable service around the park. I'm not gonna give anything up for this one to keep it around, frankly. I get plenty of dragon food over in Isla Burke, but I do love Asian cuisine, so you know, maybe I'd let Toothless give me like a little nibble, like a soft one, to keep Blue Dragon around. This is Bar Zenith, this pavilion right here. It is a full bar with very strong and very unique drinks. We tried one called the Red Shift here that was, I think, bourbon and wine. Very strange. Lots of interesting drinks on the menu here. If you like a themed cocktail, this spot's awesome. It's also an easy walk up outside, super easy to come and get a drink here. So, although I think there are better cocktails at the Plastered Owl and like Bar Moonshine, it's just this has more options than Bar Moonshine. I don't know. So I think that I could take or leave this one, like a third pancake. I don't even really like pancakes, but I hope that paints a picture.
Also, there's a Starbucks, which you guys know what that is.
So, having eaten at every single restaurant at Epic Universe, our team has determined the best of the best and a couple superlatives. Our best full meal goes to Café Lair de la Sirène. Best snack is the mac and cheese coats. Best treat, the DK Crush Float. Most underrated goes to Meteor Astropub. For most surprising hidden gem, we have Sweet Bao. And for best bar, we have the Burning Blade Tavern. If you're still here, like this video and drop this secret code in the comments so we know you made it all the way. And don't forget to subscribe. We upload tips, info, games, and more from Universal and beyond 7 days a week because we're serious about fun here. And we saw a lot of food, and you ate food, and I ate food, and I don't know if you ate food, but maybe you ate food.